Hello everyone, got some news for you here, hot off the press, just thought I'd share it with you. If I was to say to you that a national headquarters for Jehovah's Witnesses was now going to be a college for evangelical Christians, would you believe me? If I was to say to you that the same headquarters was to become a centre for Christian counselling, would you believe me? If I was to say to you that the same headquarters was going to become a soup kitchen for those impoverished and starving, would you believe me? One more question. If I was to say to you that all of those things that I've just said would also be done with the full blessing of the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses, would you believe me? Let me read this to you, hot off the press, and see what you think. Great view. The Elim Church's new premises in Wattle Downs was formerly the Jehovah's Witnesses New Zealand headquarters. It was the national headquarters for the Jehovah's Witnesses for 30 years. But the 7.5 hectares Wattle Downs property has now been sold to Elim Church and could soon house a new Christian college. Jehovah's Witness minister George Gray says advances in technology mean the property is no longer needed for running the church's New Zealand and South Pacific activities, which will now be administered from Australia. Elim Church bought the property for its growing South Auckland congregation, and volunteers helped transform the site in just a matter of days. Pastor Boyd Ratnaraja says the congregation moved in on a Sunday straight after morning services at their much smaller Weymouth Road premises. And he quotes, "They have done a superb job of setting up," he says. The church will hold services for its 450 strong congregation at its new home, as well as running counselling sessions and operating an op shop and a weekly soup kitchen. We believe in reaching out to the community. We want this to be a centre of hope. People don't have to be Christians, Mr. Ratnaraja says. The congregation also hopes to build a Christian college on the site, similar to its school in botany. Many students from southern suburbs already travel to the botany junior and senior campuses, Mr. Ratnaraja says. We'd love to have a primary all the way to secondary. That's our vision. The church's Bible college will also shift to the Wattle Downs complex in October. Mr. Ratnaraja says it's amazing how easy the sale process was to complete. There were a few groups interested in it, but we had favour with the Jehovah's Witnesses. Let me just say that again. Elim Church, we had favour with the Jehovah's Witnesses. They wanted to give it to a faith-based organisation. Let me repeat that. They wanted to give it to a faith-based organisation. They put so much love and care into this place. We want to maintain this property. We want to honour them because they were phenomenal. Elim Church has 4 campuses in Auckland. Mr. Gray, who was the Jehovah's Witness minister, says he wasn't surprised there was plenty of interest in the property. I bet there was. We had a large property that was pretty much in pristine condition. Oh yes. We always make sure we take care of our buildings. Okay. The church will maintain a presence in the south at its South Auckland Assembly Hall. Oh, yippee. Services at Elim's new home start on Sunday at 9 a.m. and 10:45 a.m. at 1898 Mahia Road, Wattle Downs. Well, blow me over with a feather. Do you remember all those decades we were told to run a mile from Babylon the Great, the world empire of false religion, the harlot? Do you remember all of that? That she was steeped in sins, running up to the top of the mountains, that the wrath of Jehovah was about to come down on her at any minute, and that we must be completely clean from Babylon the Great, the harlot of false religion. And here we have the national headquarters for the Jehovah's Witnesses of 30 years in New Zealand being sold to a Christian church. Fascinating. Not only that, but it seems like they're running from New Zealand and doing everything now from Australia. Can you see those cracks in the hull of the ship starting to appear? Can you? We can. Just thought I'd share that because that's very interesting. They're taking money from Babylon the Great. But what's the irony here is that this building will now be put to good use for counselling sessions and as a Christian college and a weekly soup kitchen for those that are starving. But it won't be Jehovah's Witnesses that are doing those things. It'll be Christians that are doing those things. And I find it incredible that I'm reading this. It also says that they're really looking forward to moving in and making a massive difference to their community. We want this to be a centre of hope. We believe in reaching out to the community. So at last, this building will have a use to everybody around it, to give hope to those individuals. And maybe for a lot of them that are coming there desperate for help, as per the analogy of the Samaritan issue, many of them might come to Jesus Christ. A fascinating story, but one that's true. And I just welcome comments on that. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.